The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences. I know we're usually talking about kids' cartoons and stuff, but there's going to be naughty language. Anyway, listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, your weekly home for animation reviews and discussions.
All right, Nolan, before we get going here, I want to hear your best Captain Underpants battle cry.
I wish I could, but my dad's actually asleep in the other room, but
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, alright everybody, welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast for this week. I am your host, JD, and as you heard there with his beautiful battle cry, Mr. Nolan is back.
Hi guys, what's up? I'm back.
It's good to have you back.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm glad I could ruin your show again. It's gonna be great.
Oh, ruin? Hardly.
Yeah.
You can't make this show any worse than it already is.
You know, you say that, but we also say that about pizza parties, so what is the truth?
A couple 100,000 viewers.
True. Anyway, so why did you drag me out from under my rock today? What am I here for?
Okay, so we will get back to our summer camp theme next week, but a little Netflix show came out this week that had me pretty excited and have been waiting for, and we're basically going to be talking about the Epic Tales of Captain Underpants Season 1.
People use the term epic still, really?
Well, it's because all of the books were the something epic novel by Dave Pilkey.
Of course.
So they have to maintain the
brand recognition.
Exactly, and we'll get into it here in a minute. But there's a lot of staying on brand for this show. So
I was very surprised at how faithful it was to the books. Very ridiculously faithful, and I grew up with those books. I read up to about the 10th one, I think. Mm-hmm. It was the Booger two-parter, I believe, is where I dropped off because life got in the way. You know how it be. Yeah, but
I think that's about where I got to.
Yeah, but I've kind of wanted to read the rest of them eventually, but I never got around to it because, again, life gets in the way. But I really like the show. It's not like exactly what I would have wanted, but I'm 23, so I think it's safe to say this show is not made for me, which is of course fine. But I don't know, JD. Do you feel slighted and like these cartoonists don't deserve a job?
I don't think that is. I don't think that at all. I think you're right. Even though this is based on a property that is from our childhood, this show is not for us as adults. This is for children these days. So
kiddos these days. So, there's also a feminist episode. So, men, you gotta pick up your pitchforks and fight for your cartoons.
I'm sure we'll get into episode specifics. But yeah, this show is based on the movie from last year, which is in turn based on the book series of Captain Underpants. So a lot of the set design, I think a lot of the humor and stuff is kind of more in line with how the movie was from last year. But there's a lot of fan service to the books, though. So.
I would actually disagree and say the humor was more like kind of like a kidified version of the books, which had a lot of actually adult humor in them. Like, I think he even mentions like the GOP. Like,
yeah, Dave Pilkey does not shy away from his personal opinions in the books.
Which like I'm thankful for. I'm glad he's like a fucking sassy boy and he's never grown out of that and he never will.
Like, it's really funny because my wife, who is a teacher, has never really read these books, but occasionally the bits of the books which are very critical of the education system will post on Tumblr, and she just relates to it so hard.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Pilkey, like, there's a reason these books are banned, but he's, like, speak and see the truth. So I'm with him all the way.
I love him. He taught me how to draw. Kinda.
He was the reason I started making comic books.
Yeah, same here, bro.
So anytime I like say like if somebody says, is there an artist you look up to or respect, I always just say like nobody except Dave Pilkey.
Mm-hmm.
Because he started it. I like by default I have to say like, yeah, he's what got me on the path in the first place. Wouldn't be where I am without him.
I am completely there with you, man. Dave Pilkey is my hero.
Thank you, Dave. I hope Japan is treating you well. Watashi wa Captain Underpants desu. A little off topic from the show, but do you remember all the weird like Captain Underpants animations and videos that used to crop up on his website?
I sure do.
Wasn't there that one Japanese guy who like dressed up and like
I think so.
Dressed up as Captain Underpants? Okay, good. I wasn't hallucinating that. So that
sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. So I do want. Oh, so we said that this show is very fan servicey to the books, and honestly, Nolan, I gotta say, I'm kind of on the fence about how I feel about it.
Like that. It's so like loyal to the books, or what do you mean exactly?
I think so. Because for example, every book starts with like, this is George and Harold. This one's on the left, this one on the right. Remember that, and that's literally how every single episode starts.
Yeah, and in the episode, like especially in the format of a Netflix binge show, that's probably pretty gratuitous.
Yeah, but I think if this is something I'd be watching week to week, it wouldn't like, okay, let's get through this part of the episodes and we get to the rest of the show. But yeah, being a Netflix thing, I can watch one episode right after another and just kind of get really repetitive, especially with a 22-minute show. But yeah, and then like each scene is basically, every time there's a scene change, is basically it's a chapter break. Mm-hmm. And Sean Astin is the narrator of this, which he does a good job.
Yeah, he does.
There's some parts where there's bits and pieces of things where he kind of maybe sounds a little disinterested, but I don't know if that's just how he talks.
I think that's the idea, is that the narrator is kind of a dry, sarcastic guy.
Yeah.
That's the idea I got from it. But another thing I think the show kind of a detriment to the show, but one they kind of are aware of and try to mitigate, is the running jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Because they, like the intro, this is George Beard and Harold Hutchins, some of the Flip-O-Rama gags, but they try to mitigate that by changing up the format of how they're presented.
Yeah, like there is a Flip-O-Rama in every episode, but the format of it changed. So it's like in this episode, we're showing it as an informational pamphlet. This one's a memory match game. This one is a puppet, or like
this one is graffiti on bathroom stall walls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's at least different at a time. The one running joke that they were doing a lot at the beginning, kind of took a break from, and then brought it back at the end, was the joke of Miss Anthro coming in and asking, "Did you call me?" And there's just this long, awkward silence, and then he says no, and she leaves.
Yeah.
After a while, I was like, okay, I get it, whatever. But that joke kind of wore on me, and I'm glad that they kind of got away from it for a little bit. So that was okay.
Yeah, if anything in this series, it feels a lot like they are just having fun with it. And, and they're kind of just doing whatever they want to. And, you know, if people find it annoying, then tough. You're just not like a kid.
Yeah. And I mean, I think there's a benefit to this being on Netflix rather than being on TV, because I think Captain Underpants and Dave Pilkey's kind of world that he's built needs to be on something that isn't so beholden to I want to say censorship, I guess, because like this show is very gross a lot of the times. There's many episodes that deal with farts, and
the fart clouds are animated a little too realistic.
And there's a lot of farts. There's a whole episode about poop, people shitting their pants.
Good.
Well, looking like they're shitting their pants.
I got like halfway through the season. I had a lot of stuff to do, and also Minecraft,
okay.
So
That's okay.
I'm the only person who plays Minecraft in the year 2018 who isn't like a child. But
okay. Yeah, there's a lot of gross stuff in here, and I feel there's like no vulgarity. It's just a lot of gross out humor, and I feel like if this was on like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, they wouldn't be able to do nearly as much as they do. But being on Netflix,
Nickelodeon, maybe Cartoon Network would probably not give a shit.
Yeah, maybe.
Honestly, this show feels a lot like a Cartoon Network show, so I'm surprised like it went to Netflix. Then again, Cartoon Network hates licensed properties now, unless they're Warner Brothers. So
it's true, and they don't own DreamWorks yet. So
yet.
Well, didn't someone buy DreamWorks? Didn't
NBC Universal, who also owns Illumination?
Illumination, that's right. They own both of them now. Good job, everybody. So yeah, and so you've got all of your main characters from the books. You've got George and Harold. You've got all the teachers. You've got Melvin, but they also added in. They kind of tried to fill out the rest of the cast with like new children, and there's different teachers that come in that to become the monsters and stuff. How did you feel about like the new recurring children that they have?
There's only like 3 that I've noticed so far. One called Gooch, I think his name is.
Gooch,
which is very, very close to a Asian slur, which kind of makes me uncomfortable. But we're not going to get into that. Yeah. He's just kind of like the coconut head of this show, where it's just like he's just like the butt monkey. Nothing really happens to him. He's not a deep character. There's Har girl, who is
Har.
Yeah, who's very, very one note, and
she and her posse.
Yeah, I don't like her at all that much. I don't like.
They keep bringing her back to do things.
Yeah, I don't hate her per se, but it's just kind of like,
her saying hair the way she says it by saying har. That's like her entire personality.
She's a joke, which is ironic because the only other female character who's prominent, Erica, right? Is that her name? I forget. Yeah, Erica. Mm-hmm. I'm surprisingly bad with names, yet here I am. Erica is like a very feminist character, which I don't have a problem with inherently feminist characters, like, it's a new age. But one thing I do hate is a feminist character who's just, that's all they are, is that they're, like, in their episode, the episode where she has to help George and Harold is very on the nose, and that's something I really don't like, is when something is just straight up on the nose. I know it's a kid's show. People can tell me, oh, it's a kid's show, so you can't, like, complain about it. Give some kids some credit. There's a lot of stupid kids, but I think they can grasp, be nice to girls.
Yeah, and honestly, the whole point of, it's not the whole point, but one of the big takeaways from the Captain Underpants series is that kids are way more intelligent than you give them credit for.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that. I don't have a problem with Erica as a character.
I like her. I like her character. Like she's like competent, but not like obnoxious about it. She's just like a smart person who happens to be a girl, except for that episode where they make it a point to mention that she is in fact a girl.
Yeah,
and she is very capable. By the way,
yeah,
JD.
That's my problem. If you wanna have a strong female character, that's great. Please do that. That we need more of that. But yes, there is an episode in here where they make it a point to, because basically George and Harold make a comic that end up making fun of her, and none of the girls like it. So they make a point. What? Go ahead.
The original context is their comics don't appeal to girls, and they don't get why. And it's because they kind of write in a chauvinistic type of way, even though they don't realize it. Yeah. And like Erica kind of like is just very blatantly like, this needs like a strong female character, and I'm like, who talks like this when they critique? Mm-hmm. Especially like a kid, and George and Harold are written pretty like standard children, so
yeah. I like that they're actually voiced by children and not by adult actors this time.
Their voices are so fucking cute. I love it.
Yeah,
they're adorable.
I love them.
Yeah, me too. But like I I didn't really have any complaints like that weren't just like, I don't like how this was done, but I'm an adult, so of course I wouldn't like it, which makes me feel really, really fucking sad now in hindsight, because I've grown what this book detests. I've grown up into what this book detests, and that just bums me out, but...
You become the grumpy adult?
Yeah. Dave Pilkey couldn't save me there.
Oh. But you have to at least try to remain a child at heart.
Yeah, this isn't fucking Kids Next Door. But anyway, so... Yeah. That was the only episode I had legit complaints about, and it wasn't like a deal breaker complaint. It was more just like, you couldn't have done this like more clever, more less on the nose.
Yeah, I feel like they could have put a little more effort into maybe presenting the story a little less in your face, but you know. Yeah. So
women.
One of the aspects that they don't kind of fall in line of the book is that every story is completely new. There's no story that's adapted from any of the books. So
which I'm thankful for.
Which I'm great, and I'm sure Dreamworks did that on purpose, because it's like, well, if we want to make more movies, then those are going to be the ones that are based on the books, which that's fine.
I'm not exactly sure if they will make more movies, considering that Captain Underpants was a modest success, but
I love that movie. It was everything I wanted it to be.
I know, I loved it too, but it grossed like $120 million at the box office.
Yeah.
Its budget was dirt cheap, though, like, surprisingly, so at least we have that.
That reminds me. Okay, so for whatever reason, in the Captain Underpants movie, they make constant jokes about how little their budget is, and they go into different mediums. So, like, there was parts that were, like, in stop motion, and there's punch and sock puppets and stuff in the movie. And I thought that was great, and I thought it was hilarious that they kept, like, switching mediums like that. For whatever reason, I'm not as down with it in the show. Only because it's used very sparingly, and I don't know. It, like, for me, it just doesn't fit as well.
I'm honestly also just getting tired of meta humor. It's starting to grate on my nerves, because everybody's like, guys, Gumball is so fucking woke, and all it is just like Gumball pointing out a trope. And it's just like, it's not funny. It's just him going like, hey guys, SJWs, am I right?
Right. I mean, I still kind of get a laugh out of the like the jokes that they make at the expense of their own show, where it's like the episode where they go back in time to get rid of homework is like, is it weird that all the characters in this ancient Egyptian classroom look exactly our thing? Is like, well, they wouldn't, not on our budget would they fix the character designs or something to that effect.
Yeah, that was fine because it's just a little throwaway line, but like the problem is they kind of start doing that a lot, and it gets tiring. I know fourth wall breaking is part of the books, but the books were infinitely more clever with it. Like, and the Wedgie Woman book, I remember specifically, George and Harold are replaced with robots, and they're playing baseball, and one of the robots hits the baseball so hard it tears through the fucking page. Yeah, and it's really fucking funny. But but the problem is, like, the show kind of does that, but they do the same type of jokes every time. Like, man, our show has a weak budget, or oh man, this is part of the animation process. And it's like,
did you get to the episode where they do the stop motion clay stuff?
Isn't there a couple, or is that like the whole episode?
It's episode 7. There's a part of the episode which I guess I'm finding out was animated by the Stupid Buddy guys, the guys who do Robot Chicken, where the entire world gets turned into clay. So they're like little clay models. And throughout the time, Sean Astin is telling them, like, all right, well, we need to hurry this up because clay stop motion is expensive, so we need to hurry this up. And they keep going longer and longer, so their animation keeps getting worse and worse, where the character models, like, from pretty decent childlike clay interpretations of the characters, they start becoming like little ball versions of them. And then there's parts of it where you can actually see the hands moving things because the animation's so cheap, and they want to show how the world gets turned out of clay. It's like, nope, we don't have any money for that. So they just like cut to when it's already solved. So if that kind of humor bugs you, then there's like a whole section of an episode that's basically that. It's just poking fun. It's like, this is expensive. You guys we don't have the budget for this. Let's hurry this up.
Yeah, I'm just kind of tired of that, because that's been there have been running jokes like that for over a decade, like Chowder. I love C.H. Greenblatt and his work on Chowder and other cartoons, but like, man, he started a virus.
Oh, yeah. It's just, you can watch an entire compilation of all the Chowder fourth wall breaks, and
yeah,
I like a good fourth wall break, but you have to be clever with it.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Just don't do it for the sake of doing it.
That's the problem, is that they're doing it just because it's become the new fart joke of the 2010s, is breaking the fourth wall. It's cheap, it's easy, and all you have to do is be like, hey guys, did you know that meta? And that's literally it, which is why I hate Gumball more than like other people do. Like, yeah, sure, it looks nice, it's a pretty show, but the whole reason it looks like that is not in the context of the show anymore. And now all we're left is with, oh man, the animation process. Ooh.
Right.
Fucking sick of it.
Yeah.
Stop it. No.
But I think my problem with them doing it in the show, as opposed to how they did it in the movie, is that the entire movie was like that, where George and Harold would like turn to the camera, freeze the movie, and start talking to the audience. Whereas in the show, they don't ever do that. They kind of like will respond to something the narrator says every now and then, but like more often than not, they're in their own world and don't kind of acknowledge that they're in a show or anything. So it's like, for me, it's like go big or go home. Like either commit to that as that's what you're gonna do, or just don't do it.
Yeah, it's like they're stuck in some kind of a fourth wall limbo where they're just like aware they're in a show, but they don't really acknowledge it. Aside from just some passing comments, but
it's like they're aware of it either for the sake of it's only there for the sake of a joke. It's not because that's how their world is constructed.
Yeah.
But I want to give props to just the animation and design of this, because
it is Titmouse, so
it's Titmouse. So I mean, they do amazing work, and I would love to work for them one day. Chris P, hire me.
Hey, Chris Prynoski, I know I'm kind of ripping your show a bit, but hey, hit me up. I want a board. I'd like to write. I can do it.
Board.
I know how to board too. No, JD, shut up.
I'll fight you.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, like I said, these are more just personal complaints of mine. They're not like they're not objective like flaws. They're just like, this isn't my humor. I'm sick of this. But But they're not, like, actual flaws. The only flaws, like, I can think of are sort of just, like, well, in terms of the visuals, I really don't like how they do highlights and shadows, because it's fucking weird, and I don't know how to...
Okay, you posted something about...
on Twitter.
About that on Twitter the other day, and I hadn't noticed until you pointed out that, yeah, you can notice the highlights, they kind of do this weird curve when they've got an eye, or they've got an ear on the side that they're being highlighted, and I kept looking at...
Or it's like a specific object that's obstructing their, like, character.
And I don't know...
It's so bizarre.
I don't know if it's the exact reason, but the more I kept looking at the characters and what, like, the highlights and stuff and how their shadows and lights worked, I honestly think that might be, like, it's not on their models. It's like an automated lighting source, because I looked at it. Because there was one instance where I was looking at George, and he had like a 3/4 turn, so you could see his ear on the highlight side. And the highlight goes down his head, makes a curve where his ear is going to be, so it looks like there's a weird bubble in the highlight, and keeps going down his head. And it's like, that's probably automated rather than a deliberate choice, because it just kind of looks strange, and every character does that. I don't know if that just makes it faster to put shadows and highlights on people, but... It does look weird if you're watching for it.
Yeah, at that point, it's kind of like, why even do it? Why not just have it be a part of the actual model itself?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. It's like, why not just paint the shadows and highlights on them to begin with instead of doing an automated one? But
yeah, like the show looks nice. Like I think it looks very, very good. It looks exactly like the books, except like Oh yeah, this is a nitpick. This is very like personal nitpick, but I hate George's hair. It looks like a pile of mud on his head.
You like who?
George's flat top haircut. It looks bad.
Oh.
I don't like it. 0 out of 10.
Yeah, because it was usually pretty rectangular.
Yeah, it was rectangular, and it was a nice, like, distinct silhouette, and now it looks gross. I don't like it. I don't like this. This is my personal opinion that I don't like this. Delete your...
You were entitled to your opinion.
Delete your channel, titmouse.
Oh.
You ain't shit! But,
Whoa.
No, but, jokes aside, besides, like, personal nitpicks or whatever, it's more so just, like, I mean, it's just a pretty straightforward show. Like, it's either you like the humor or you don't.
Yeah, it's very formulaic, but it's like... And it's weird because it's episodic, but at the same time, there is an ongoing story, kinda.
There's like a continuity, and there's a ticking clock where if George and Harold keep visiting Mr. Krupp's office, they're going to get expelled, and he has like a counter.
Yeah, it's on the wall, and he ticks it every time they come in. So if it counts up to 500, they get expelled.
And in the alternate future, where they get to like erase homework in one episode, he still has that, even though everything else has changed, but that's the only thing that's kept. And they're like,
and they have to make notices. Like, really, that's the one thing that didn't change.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, because there's like an episode or two. There's like at least 2 episodes that I can think of where they go back in time to mess with history. And it's weird the constants or how they deal with time travel, but But I agree with you. I'm very happy with how they did the character designs and everything. It stayed very true to the book, because that was my big worry with the movie, is that they were going to try to Dreamworksify it.
And they didn't.
And they didn't. They made exactly what Dave Pilkey's artwork in 3D would look like, and I was very happy with it. And I'm very happy with this, because it's pretty much just like the book colored in, which they make those now. Yeah.
This is me being cynical, but I don't know if they did this out of a stylistic choice, or if because it was cheaper, like especially with the movies. Because with the movies, you could easily make 3D models and recycle them. So because the designs are so simple,
right?
DreamWorks outsourced this to Canada, so
Yeah.
Goodbye. Oh, hello, Canada. Thank you for stealing our animation jobs.
This show sorry.
I don't know. I was just going to say there's not much I can really add. Like, there's not much in the way of flaws in terms of, like, outright, they did this wrong, they did that wrong. It's more so just, like, they did it in a way I don't like it. So...
Yeah.
Like, if you like gross out comedies with, like, pretty clever jokes sometimes, or silly humor, this is for you. If you don't, then don't watch. But if you like the book... If you like the books as a kid, though, your inner child, if you're not like a cynical asshole like I am, will like scream for joy, because I've been wanting this for years when I was younger. And
this is the show that my 7-year-old self would have died for.
Yeah, it's just decades late, which is unfortunate, but
which I'm still fine with. We at least got it at some point, so I can at least be happy about that.
Yeah, I'm thankful we got it. I wish I wasn't like a fucking cynical asshole who can't enjoy anything anymore. Oh. But hey, it's if you loved the books, you will enjoy this a lot, and you'll feel very happy for the nostalgia of it.
Yeah,
and it's not like a bad book for. I mean, it's not a bad show for kids either. Like,
oh no,
I wouldn't mind my kid watching this if I had one.
Oh no, and for as gross out as it is, it still has a good heart. There's an entire episode about, like, it's basically an anti-bullying episode, but it's not, like, so in your face about it.
Unlike the feminist episode.
Yeah, it's a little more subtle about it, so.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. I know you haven't reached the end of it, but I will say that this season does end on a cliffhanger, so I would like to think that Netflix and DreamWorks are going to be making another season of this probably next year sometime. Or if they're going to do like Voltron, where they put a new season out every 4 months.
Oh my god! Please no.
I don't know how. I liked Voltron from as much as I've watched. I'm like 3 seasons behind, but it's like, how the fuck do they put this Avatar level quality show, like animation wise, out like every 4 to 5 months. How do they do that? I don't get it.
I don't know. It might be the episode count, or it's they
Maybe.
are working Studio Mer into their graves.
Probably.
I feel really bad for Korean studios.
Yeah. Justice for Korea.
Justice for Korea, indeed. Kim Jong-un is a liar.
Oh.
But yeah.
But yeah, I really like this show. There's definitely bits and pieces of it that I don't particularly like. There's a lot of running jokes or a lot of reoccurring things that didn't really strike me well, but I think overall I really like this, and if they are going to make a season 2, I am very curious as to what they're going to do, because I won't spoil it for you, but yeah, the way they end this is very strange and kind of out of left field, so...
Is it like Evangelion?
I don't know. I've actually never watched Evangelion.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, I look forward to seeing that then, because I didn't think they would do that. I mean, Dave Pilkey does some really out there shit with the books, so I guess I shouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah, and there's been books with cliffhangers, so I mean, this isn't completely...
well, every book is a cliffhanger.
Pretty much.
He's
always running off.
Even if it's a joke cliffhanger, it's still a cliffhanger.
That's the one thing from the book they didn't bring in, Nolan. They never end anything by saying, "Here we go again." They never do it.
Fuck! Worst show ever. God damn it.
Not even the last episode. I figured, now that I'm thinking about it, that should have been what they do at the very last episode of the season. Mm-hmm. Just to cap it off. And, that's okay. It's whatever. I don't care.
But, I guess that's the only actual, critique I have, is that they have too many fucking running jokes. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop that right now.
Write new jokes. Alright. So, yeah, guys, that's our review for Captain Underpants, the Netflix show. If you got Netflix, definitely check it out. It's a good, fun time.
It's a good fun time if you don't if you like gross out humor, or if you read the books. If not, this show will not appeal to you in any way possible.
Watch it anyway, because it needs your support. Because if you watch it, they'll make more of it, and then it'll make me happy.
Make JD happy. He deserves it.
Yeah, don't you want to make me happy?
Do you?
I want to make me happy.
Yeah, I wish I could make me happy. I still haven't figured that one out yet.
In due time, sir. In due time.
In due time. Captain Underpants, please cure my depression.
I don't know if he has that power, but...
Tra-la-la-oh.
His underwear of antidepressants. Alright, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week, continuing our summer camp theme, but we'll catch you all again next week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like a camp counselor, Billy, get out of the lake. JD, what do we do if one of the camp kids, drowned and died? What do we do?
We do like they do in Friday the 13th. We forget it happened.
Okay, I can live with that. Alright, bye guys!
Bye!
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Ink and Paint Club podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can catch a new episode every week. Also be sure to follow us on our Facebook and Twitter so you can keep up with the show. Links are in the description. We'll see you next week.